Hey, I'm so excited that you're here with me today. Welcome, welcome to the first day of the Bye Bye Battle of the Bulge. Hello, forever body you love. It's a 5-day training. Now, because every single woman deserves to feel comfortable and confident in her body, we're taking this time here together today to really go through some things that I think are going to benefit your life. I know that if you do the things that I am teaching you in these next 5 days, that it will change your life. It will change your relationship with your body, your relationship with food, and you can be able to go on feeling good and looking good without all the heaviness. So my name is Rose Stein. I will be your host these next 5 days. So please jump into the chat, find the chat and say hello, calling in from Washington State. Hey, Nikki, glad that you're here. I am going to try and keep the chat open on the side. And if I can, kind of pop over and see what's going on. But this is a really great opportunity for you guys to kind of chat with each other, jot down some things that you got, like some aha moments that you may have. We're going to go through a couple different things. And so I really want you guys to be able to communicate and chat with each other. So go ahead and use the chat box for that. And if you are coming to us and you're watching either on the replay, awesome, welcome. If you're watching live in the group, I highly recommend that you click the link above so that you can actually join us in the Zoom room, because that's where we're going to be having some other amazing benefits as well. So we'll get into that in just a second. So don't be shy. This is worth your time and your energy for sure. Okay, so let's go to the next slide here. Yep, there we go. Perfect. All right, all is working in the hood and Zoom world. All right, so each day at 12 noon Pacific time, we're going to be meeting in this same Zoom room where I'm going to be going live for about 60 minutes. Now, because I really want you to get the best value out of our 60 minutes together, I'm going to ask that you close out other windows, right? That you block out any distractions, that you close the door and put a sign on it that says, "Do not disturb, I'm doing important business in here," and turn off your phone. Give yourself back this hour so that you can learn exactly how to save yourself a lot of future heartache. Now, we're going to talk about the 10 habits that put the pounds on and why you need to stop dieting now. And then we're going to open up for some laser coaching. Oh, and first, we're going to talk about how to boost your motivation. Then we're going to open up for some laser coaching. And just in case you don't know what that means, or you're unfamiliar with the term laser coaching, it's an opportunity for you to come on live with me and ask any specific questions that you have. Laser coaching is quick and it's focused. Okay, so ladies, you have a little digital hand, and I think most of you have your cameras off, so that's okay. But maybe just either in your mind or your little digital hand, just maybe out into the world, into the universe, raise your hand if that sounds like something that you would like to do, that you'd like to take back control of your negative self-talk, that you'd like to stop dieting, that you'd like to confidently take that next step towards your weight loss goals. Yeah, I see a couple of hands up. Absolutely. So my big promise to you is that by the end of this training on Friday, you will know exactly how to take back control of your negative self-talk, to stop dieting for good, and to confidently take that next step towards your goals. So first and foremost, I am the proud mother of an 11-year-old boy named James. This is a couple of years ago now. I should probably get a new picture, but he still is just the cutest nugget ever. I have a master's degree in holistic health education, specializing in nutrition. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a health coach. I have a career technical educator's training credential from the state of California. I teach foods and nutrition in high school. In fact, I just got back like 20 minutes ago from teaching school. We were going over vitamins today, and they were doing presentations, and I was so proud of them. I am also the founder of the Perfect Fit Signature Program, where I show amazing women just like you how to take back control and lose weight in a sane and natural way. So I feel very blessed today, ladies, very blessed. I'm 42 years old. I am 5'8". As of Friday morning, I weigh 149 pounds. I'm a size 8 or a medium. I also have some extra skin. I have some stretch marks. I have some tattoos. I've got other things going on with my body. And today I love and accept my body, every single inch, every thought, every action. But it wasn't always like that. It wasn't until I learned about my subconscious mind, and now it had been programmed to give me the exact results that I was getting, where I used to be stuck and frustrated, feeling overwhelmed and overweight. So the subconscious part of our mind is like, it's like our operating system. It runs all the time from just before our birth. That's a long time, right? Like way back before I can remember. In fact, it's the only thing that runs us until roughly the age of 6. So think about what was going on in your life up until the age of 6. And then of course, it's not just like it switches over. Now we're all conscious, right? It's a kind of a slow progression as our brains are developing. And so that's when we begin at about age 6 to develop our conscious mind, which is like the applications that we actively use in our day-to-day life. And so that's why children are so open and loving. The subconscious is like that. There's no judgment. It just takes everything in as is. So when I was growing up, and yes, these are pictures of me and my family when I was young, my parents, they used to fight a lot. And when I was about 8 years old, my mom told me that one of the reasons that they fought so much is because my dad doesn't like overweight women. Now, in fact, she said that her father as well doesn't like overweight women. And I remember being really confused about what that meant because I loved my mom. I didn't see her as anything bad or negative. I didn't see her as overweight. And at the time, whatever overweight meant, I didn't know what it was, but I didn't want to be it. Right? I didn't want anything to do with that. And because I just wanted to be loved. I mean, just like everybody else, especially from their parents. So around that same time, I was in the kitchen one day putting cream cheese on a bagel. And my dad walked in and he said, "Honey, don't put so much cream cheese on that bagel. You're going to get fat." And I remember running to my room and slamming the door and crying. And it was at that moment that I linked two things together in my subconscious mind that ran the operating system of my life for a really long time. And the thing that I came to understand, my operating system, was that the thing that brings me pleasure and joy also makes me unlovable. And I was crying and crying and crying. And all I wanted was for my dad to break down the door and hold me and tell me that I was lovable no matter what. But he never did that. And I also never opened the door. And so began my very long and very sad relationship with food and my body. I remember every single birthday, my only wish was to be thin. And again, I didn't totally know what that meant. I just didn't want to be overweight, right? I just wanted to be loved. And so I kept people at distance, always feeling like I would never be lovable because I could never control my food and I could never be thin enough because I didn't even know what that meant, right? That word was just totally foreign to me. And by the time I was 10, I had gained 50 pounds and my parents were sad and confused and didn't know what to do. And so they sent me to a fat camp. And that was my first diet. And I lost the weight over that summer and I came back right at a, normal size. And it was amazing. I could like cross my legs again. I remember like we were like running around in soccer and I could actually run without my legs chafing. And I had so much more energy. I mean, it was incredible, the difference. But I came back to the same house. I came back to the same environment and with the same operating system, if you will. And so it didn't take long before I gained all the weight back plus more. And that diminished my sense of self, my confidence in myself. And I struggled with that same 50 pounds for 30 years. It's funny looking back in pictures. I remember the way that I felt in this picture here in the left-hand corner, there's my brother and my dad and myself and my mom. And I was pushing back my stomach. I was pushing it back because I was so embarrassed of my body. I didn't want to be seen. Can anyone else relate to that? You know, not wanting to be in pictures, wanting to be behind everybody else, just not wanting to be seen like that. I know that, you know, over the years, the women that I have worked with, a lot of women feel that way. So if you've ever felt that way, you're certainly not alone. And even the ones who seem very confident. I've worked with so many women over the years with food and body images. It's I don't want anyone to comment on my body. I don't want people to look at my body. I don't want people to talk about my body, right? And this is exactly the way that I felt. So at this point, I'm now 11 or 12 years old, and it's time to get a bra. I remember my mom takes me to Nordstrom's. We're in the middle of the racks, right? The lady asked me to put my hands out in the air like a cross, and she comes around with that measuring tape, and she's touching my body, and she's measuring me around, and they're talking about numbers, and I'm horrified. I'm completely mortified, and I could feel my face getting red and hot, and I just started crying, and I ran out of that building as fast as I could to the car and just started crying. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Even when people would give me a compliment, I hated it. I hated compliments. I just didn't want anyone to look at me or comment on my appearance or my body ever. And so you can imagine with this leave me alone attitude that I had trouble letting people close. So I was so overly sensitive to normal relationship ups and downs. So when I can stand up here in front of a bunch of people, I mean, there's a lot of people in this group right here, and go live in a group of over 1,000 people and say that I am Rose Stein. I'm 5'8", I'm 149 pounds, I'm a size medium, right? It's not perfect. I'm not a little skinny mini. I don't have this like super toned, tight, like, let's get like rock hard abs and like, we're going to do it, like eat a bunch of protein. That's not my story. That's not what I believe in. And so if that's something that you desire, then God bless you. I could probably help you find someone who does more of that. But that's not my story, right? I had never been comfortable in my body before I learned what I'm going to teach you guys this week, right? And it didn't matter how thin I got or what diets I got. I mean, I lost that 50 pounds 6 times. It didn't matter. I always gained it back, right? And even though my body is not perfect, and even though I still don't even know what my perfect size is or my perfect weight, right? I mean, I have an idea in my mind, right? Is this constant evolution of being okay where I'm at and also feeding myself well. And I know that today I'm lovable no matter what. And no diet could have ever taught me that. No food plan could heal that pain. No number on a scale could ever have opened my heart in that way. I had to rewire my subconscious mind. And that is exactly why I'm here to share with you today. Because knowledge just wasn't enough. I mean, who can relate to that? Right? I did all the diets. I read all the books. I did all the magazines. I went to the doctor. I did all the things. I even have a master's degree in health education, specializing in nutrition. Was that helpful? Sure. Did it solve the problem? Hell no. Right? I went to all the therapy. I got all the education. Right? But it just couldn't get off that gaining and losing cycle. I was so self-conscious about my body that it's what I thought about most of the time. I remember thinking like, gosh, if I wasn't thinking about my ass so much, what would I could probably take over the world. Right? But if I caught a glance of myself in a reflection, then my inner chatter would start. I would try to hide behind tables or sit just right or stand just right or keep moving or hope that would distract people from seeing me. And it was exhausting mentally and physically. And all I wanted was to not care, to not think about my body or food anymore. So when I finally found out that the problem was actually inside my own mind, it was actually kind of a relief, right? That it wasn't out there, because I had a tough time trying to fix and maintain and control like all the people and places and things out there, right? That is an exhausting job, trying to make sure that everyone else is, does what they need to do so that I feel okay. It was also a bit scary. It's a bit scary to really take responsibility, for my own thoughts, my own life, my own actions, my own subconscious mind, regardless of, what the reasons are that all that stuff was there. Yes, my parents, they made a lot of mistakes, especially in the area of food and image, body image, self-esteem stuff. So what? I can't go back in time, but I can re-educate myself now, right? Because the logic, we all know that we should eat better, right? We all know that. The subconscious mind is still, it's still a bit mysterious. It doesn't totally make sense. So logically, we know we should eat better. We should sleep better. We should pray more. We should meditate more, right? We shouldn't drink so much. We know that 80% of all doctor visits could be avoided by doing those things. 80% of doctor visits are lifestyle diseases, but we keep putting it off. Who can relate to that? I know you can. I know you can. Yes, exactly. Hands raised. So I've done all that, right? Promising to be better tomorrow, that you probably have done that too, right? Oh, after the party or after the event or after the weekend, or I'm busy right now, or that's going to take a lot of work, right? We have these ideas in our mind that just keep us stuck in this little race around and around and around. We've done all that, putting it off, right? Until I can do it 100%, I'm going to change everything. I'm going to do everything right now. I'm going to be a different person tomorrow. I'm going to be motivated, try to convince ourselves logically that somehow we're going to create some motivation. Well, today I'm going to tell you the trick actually to 10xing your motivation. So what that means is putting it times it times 10, take your motivation, just multiply it, right? Because the day never comes that we're all of a sudden a different person. We're not going to wake up a different person. However, we could wake up a little bit different, right? 1% each and every day. So what's going on here? This picture, I just thought it was too cute, right? Why did the chicken cross the road? The chicken's going, why, man? Why am I doing this? And that's literally a question that so many women come why am I still doing it? How am I 50, 60, 70 years old and I'm still doing the same thing? I'm still dieting. I'm still frustrated. I'm still annoyed. I'm just desperate. I don't want to do this anymore. Well, I'm going to tell you why. It's what's underneath the visual symptoms. So did you know that about 70% of people who win the lottery or receive a huge windfall? So that's like waking up a new person, right? It's like if you are poor and all of a sudden you have $1 million in your bank, that's a big deal, right? You got a lot of other choices and options in your life, but 70% of those people are bankrupt within a few years. 70%. That's wild, right? So what they've discovered is that it's because people's underlying beliefs, feelings, and emotions and memories around money, right? Keep them. So it's like a set point. They say that people have a money set point where they naturally go back to how they perceive themselves because it's so unfamiliar to finally have money, right? And if they had been poor, they become poor again. So the surface problem of not having a lot of money gets solved, but there's a whole underneath the water iceberg that brings them back into congruency with their own thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and emotions. And until they change those thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and emotions about money, they will always just spend the money, right? They will always go back to what is comfortable, what is familiar. And a similar thing happens with people who want to lose weight. The tip of the iceberg would be the extra weight. And going on a diet can take care of the tip of the iceberg. It's like taking care of the symptom. However, you've got these thoughts and feelings, emotions, memories just underneath. Right? And if you're still acting and responding to life as a heavy person, then you're still acting and responding to food as a heavy person. If you're just dieting and waiting for that day when you can eat the way you, quote, want to eat again, you will always go back to being congruent with your subconscious shape. So, just think about this for a minute, right? What are your subconscious, back from when you were a kid, ideas about beauty, about what it is to be at an ideal weight? Is it this? right? I mean, do you have like your idea of beauty and to be thin, right? Now, is that your actual healthy body shape? Right? Do you feel like you think that your ideas, thoughts, and memories are that it has to be really hard, that you've got to work out a lot, that you've got to spend a lot of time in the gym, you've got to be sweating, right? To have the kind of energy and life that you desire? Or maybe your memories and thoughts of before or about food is that it's about family, it's about joy, it's about pleasure, it's about being together, it's about love. Right? If I still think that someone making me a cake is the only way to receive love, it's going to be really challenging to lose 50 pounds. Right? I got to find new ways to satisfy those underlying feelings and beliefs. Or what if were you ever shamed about food, shamed about your body, shamed about what you wanted to eat? Right? These are the underlying emotions and feelings that we have around food. And what happens is that women tend to get sneaky, right? If they've shamed themselves or they've been shamed somewhere along the way, they start to get sneaky with food and they start to lie to themselves about food. And it makes it really challenging then to develop a healthy relationship with our body and food if we don't actually address what's going on underneath. You know, like what's going on with your little girl? Right? Is she sad? Is she angry? Is she upset? Is she obstinate? She's like, leave me alone. Right? We've got all these underlying feelings and emotions and beliefs. And what happens is that there ends up being this like conflict in the mind. Who can relate to feeling like this? Feeling like you're kind of like fighting yourself, right? Like you're fighting yourself. There's a part of you that really wants to just be in control. It's very logical. It's very linear, right? Just like, hey, girlfriend, just do the freaking diet, lose the weight. Like, why does it have to be so hard? Just make it happen. Everything needs to make sense. It needs to be in order and it needs to be just this way to be okay. Now, the awesome thing about that part of ourselves is that the positive underlying intention, right, of the controller is typically about safety, right? Keeping you safe, which is good. We want to feel reasonably safe in our homes, in our bodies, in our communities, in our life. And when we feel like we're in control and have some sense of safety, and then there's this other part, right? We call that the indulger. It's this part that just wants to have fun. It says, stop being so controlling. Stop being so uptight. You can have just a little bit. It's no big deal. It's a party. It's fine. It's Sunday. It's Taco Tuesday. It's so-and-so's birthday. It's whatever, fill in the blank. And it just wants you to be free and have fun and not care. And typically the positive underlying intention for the indulger is typically pleasure, which is also good, right? We want to have some pleasure in our life. So of course, the indulger has a positive underlying intention. The controller has a positive underlying intention. And when these two are vying for power, we become incoherent. And when we're incoherent, that's when our thinking, our feeling, our actions are not on the same page, right? It's like discombobulated, right? This is when your thoughts, feelings, and actions are on a different wavelength. It's like when you know that you shouldn't be eating the bag or carton of ice cream, and yet you're doing it anyway, while like in your mind, you're thinking, then promising that you're not going to do it again. Tomorrow you're going to be better. Just one more bite, just one more bite. So the thoughts and the feelings and the actions they're not working together, right? They're opposite, they're incongruent. And when it's incongruent, we feel weak, we feel confused, we feel frustrated. And on the flip side of that, when our thoughts and feelings and actions are coherent, right? They're working together, our mind is working together, we have way more energy mentally, emotionally, physically. Now, this is when we have set a plan for ourselves, we know that it's right, and we follow through with it while feeling like we also deserve it. Right? So our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are all in line. And when one of those is off, we become incoherent, and that inner chaos is exhausting. Right? You're eating well, you start feeling better. You may notice that people treat you differently, right? You start to wonder if you're becoming, and I'm just going to go back to one of the phrases. So excuse my French, ladies, if you've got anyone around, maybe plug their ears if they're little, but that skinny bitch, right? How many times have I said that out of like frustration and jealousy that I couldn't just control my own food? I would then judge people who were thin, right? I would judge them, and I would say, and even if they came to me and talked to me about their relationship with food and how they struggled with it, I would be like, yeah, but you're not overweight, so who cares? Right? No one can see your pain, so who cares? You just keep that quiet, you skinny bitch. Right? So these are some of the underlying perceptions and beliefs and thought patterns that kind of penetrate through and don't really allow us to get to that next level. So we don't want to be that one who's not fun anymore. We don't want to be the one who doesn't get to eat with other people. Maybe your husband, right, notices that you start to lose weight and he starts to get jealous and make weird comments. That's super common. You start to feel uncomfortable with this new reality, unsure how to navigate it. Your thoughts and feelings are not coherent with your actions, and so you eat. You start to gain the weight back. But now the thoughts are, okay, tomorrow will be better. I'm going to be better. But now your actions are incoherent in the opposite direction, right? Now we're eating, but thinking that we're going to not do it tomorrow. Well, before, right? So we're promising not to do it while we're doing it. How many of us can relate to that? That's right. I sure can. Either enjoying it with little control, or I'm controlling it with little enjoyment. And the only thing is that it doesn't solve the deeper problem, nor that instinctual need to be healthy. Every cell in our body wants to be healthy. Its job is to stay alive and function properly. When it's not, that means that there's something blocking it. Now, this is a beautiful concept. This is a beautiful idea because it really takes the blame and the shame out of it, ladies. It takes the blame and the shame out of it. We can just remove that. And what we found with women who have dieted over and over again is that their subconscious patterns of thinking and feeling keep them in that loop. And to break free, she must stop blaming and shaming that little girl and instead give her a big hug. Okay. So what we've got now is how we can really access the subconscious mind, right? I told you that I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and this is Dr. Patrick Porter. He was one of the men who trained me. And he said, Rose, because of course, I mean, just like you, like if you are like first not really knowing what hypnosis is, it seems like woogie, right? Like, you're going to like do a circle thing or a clock, and then I'm not going to remember. And, I'm going to do something weird, like quack like a duck. And that is 0% of what we do. I'm not a stage hypnotist. This is a hypnotherapy, right? So this is really taking the way that the brain works and understanding it the way that the subconscious works, because the subconscious is just underneath the surface. We're not going to access it when we're in stress mode, right? When we're in control mode, we're in stress mode, we're in high beta. It's a brainwave frequency that is too active. We have to get down into like a meditative state. And when we're in a meditative state, we have a lot more space and room inside of our mind, our creativity, our understanding to make the kind of changes that we want to make. We've got to get down into outside of the dramas and traumas of the world into that little girl, right? That little girl who's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old that has certain ideas of who she is. So he says that we're not trying to get anyone into hypnosis. We are helping them break free of the hypnosis that they're already in, thinking that it's too hard, that they've got to change everything, that if they just exercise more, that they're going to be left out, that what are they going to have if they don't have that vice, that it's too hard. All of these ideas and thoughts are the hypnosis that we placed ourselves into. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be that dramatic, right? So this is one of my clients here, Natalias. She says that she tried so many times to do it on her own. She just wanted to be at a healthy weight and stay there. She says, I could be really good for a while, but when I was bad, I was out of control. And then I hated myself. See that loop, that back and forth, controlling, indulging, controlling, indulging. She says, today, with the help of this group, I feel that food is in its proper place. I know exactly what to eat and how much. So when it's mealtime, I really enjoy every bite. And when it's not mealtime, I'm living my life. It sounds so simple, but to me, it's been a miracle. So Albert Einstein, which is a pretty smart man, he also concurs. He says, without changing our patterns of thought, we will not be able to solve the problems that we created with our current patterns of thought. So these are the 10 habits that are common to overweight people. Because remember, the overweight, it's just a symptom, right? The obsession with food, with dieting, with trying to figure it out, like that's just the surface stuff that we can get really stuck on that and try and figure that out. But really what's happening underneath oftentimes is that we're like to avoid problems. We got problem avoidance issues, right? We have this all or nothing thinking, right? Oh, well, you know, I'm not going to start my diet till Monday. So it's party on, right? Let's go get all the things. Or, right, this all or nothing thinking, you're kind of like cruising, you're like, all right, you know, I'm doing pretty good, I'm eating well. You have like a snack because somebody handed it to you, or they bought a donut, or, you know, whatever it is, someone handed you something and you had it. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I screwed up. So I can't be perfect today. So might as well be, just go for it, right? You go to the store, you get the box, the bag, the carton, the whatever, all the stuff, right? That all or nothing thinking. This on or off perfectionism, right? Which is just really a fun belief system right there. Like things have got to be perfect or nothing, right? I'm either doing it or I'm not doing it. I'm either off or on, and it's exhausting. Another lie, as I like to call them, that is common, little habits of thought, is that this doesn't count. This doesn't matter, right? Oh, it's just a little bit. Oh, it's just a bite. Oh, it's one time. Right. And on some level, of course, it doesn't matter. However, when we have a habit of thinking that way, it becomes like what happens is if we tell ourselves that, our subconscious mind trusts us, right? So if we say this doesn't matter, it doesn't actually go into our brain. It doesn't get registered. So you can look back and go, oh my God, I had 15 pieces of candy. Gosh, it was just one at a time. And I told myself it didn't matter. 15 pieces later, I go, oh man, the whole box is gone. What happened? Another common habit of overweight people is people pleasing, right? Not wanting to actually identify what it is that we need and speak up, right? This lack of voice. There's somewhere that we left ourselves and then we start to soothe with food, right? We also have soft boundaries. We tend to, you know, not want to upset people, not want to rock the boat, not want to speak up. And so we have soft boundaries. And when people have soft boundaries, you don't know where you rub up against. You don't know where you end, the other person starts, and it becomes confusing for everybody. And then people get used, and then you feel upset that you're being used, and then you eat. There's also a lot of negative self-talk, right? There's like a lot of flatulation, where it's like, oh, I did it again. Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, it's hard for me. It's easy for everybody else. Oh, I'm going to put myself last on the list. And, you know, the negative self-talk goes right into the shaming. But shaming is a little bit different because shaming is not just talk, right? Shaming is believing that there's fundamentally something wrong with yourself, right? The shame is not like, oh, I did something bad. The shame is, I am bad. Right? And it makes it really challenging to give two shits about eating an apple instead of ice cream when you have all of this going on, right? This is the stuff that needs to be addressed. And of course, the last thing here is the downplaying the pain, right? Not really sharing the truth of what's going on inside of here, right? Inside the heart, inside the mind. Oh, and then the devaluing small steps, right? Like again, that goes back to the all or nothing. It's like, well, I'm going to be either like perfect and do it all. I'm going to do all the exercise. I'm going to do the perfect food. I'm going to eat all the food that's in the house, or I'm going to get rid of all of it. And I'm cutting up my credit cards. I'm not going to not going out anymore, right? Just really devaluing that it's okay to be 1% better each day and that it does matter. So this is the thing, ladies, I would love for you to get a piece of pen and paper. And this is your opportunity to really get down into what the heck is going on here. Right? This is how you 10x your willpower. This is how you multiply and take your own motivation and your own willpower, however small that spark might be at this moment, and put gasoline on that spark and let it just explode into your life in such a powerful and positive way that it begins to melt all of that negative self-talk, that it begins to form those solid and firm boundaries so that you can move through this life comfortable and confident in the body that God gave you. You have to know your why, and it has to be more than I want to lose weight, because nobody is really that motivated about losing something. All right, just psychologically, the brain don't like that. All right, so we really have to get into what is your big why. This is my big why. It almost makes me want to cry just even looking at this boy. I love him so much. It's insane. And of course, our puppy, that's a little Sierra. She's so cute. She's not a puppy anymore. This was probably, I don't know, maybe a year ago. Goodness. Oh, so this guy right here is my big why. I don't want to be a burden to him. I want to be a good example for him. I want him to grow up with a mom that is not obsessed about her body and about weight. I want him to not have to worry about me and to worry about my health. I don't want him to have to take me to the hospital like my mom had to take her grandmother because she was on, whatever she was on, and she was overweight and she never took care of her health. Right? And she was back and forth to the hospital on this medication, that medication. No. I don't want to see anybody else that I love have to have legs amputated because of diabetes or to go blind or to suffer in the way that we suffer. No more, right? So that's my big why. This guy right here is my big why. So ladies, I'm going to ask you, know your big why. This is it right here. So your subconscious mind, it works in images and feelings and emotions, right? So we need to get into the image, the feeling, the emotion that is more than weight loss. Because when somebody hands you a donut and you say, oh no, I'm trying to lose weight, that's not motivating. You wake up in the morning and you think about, oh, I really should get my butt up right now and do some exercise, really need to lose some weight. That's not motivating. You need to really feel it in your gut. You need to feel it in your heart. You need to be driven. You need to be so motivated by your own subconscious that it becomes easy and natural and simple for yourself. So let's do it. We need to discover what it is that drives you to take action. You need to ask yourself this question. What do you want? What do you want? Grab a piece of paper, maybe even jot it down in the chat box, right? If you don't have paper, ask yourself, what do you want? So I filled this out for us so that I can just give you an example as I go through here. What do you want? I want to lose weight. That's the top, right? I want to button my jeans. I mean, that makes sense, right? Bye-bye Battle of the Bulge, button your jeans again. Like, hello, why do you think I'm here, Rose? That's why I'm here. Amen. Okay, I want to lose weight. Awesome. You got to go a little bit deeper than that. Why is that important to you? Okay. All right, let's see. Why is that important to me? Well, I want to feel better. Cool, that's good. Got to go a little deeper than that. That's not super motivating. Why is that important to you? Well, I want my clothes to fit better. That's good. That's a good start. We're going in a good direction here, right? Why is that important to you? Well, I don't want to be embarrassed. Okay, that's a little bit deeper. I can start to feel the emotional attachment. I start to feel the memories of my childhood and my past. I start to really get how traumatizing it's been to gain and lose 50 pounds over and over and over again. But why is that important to you? Well, it's draining my energy. I need more energy. Good, that's good. Let's go a little bit deeper. Why is that important to you? Why do I want more energy? Well, so I can play with the kids, or a lot of you have grandkids. That's beautiful. I want you to play with your grandkids as well. But why is that important to you? Well, because I want the best for them. I love them. That's beautiful. A little bit deeper. Why is that important to you? Because I don't want to be a burden. That is the big why, right? That is a very, very different experience. It's a very different feeling. It's a very different motivation when there is a donut involved, right? Or motivation to get out and do the exercise. So go ahead and share your big why, right? You can share it in the group. You can give a little hashtag my big why and tell us what your big why is. And then I want you to also go ahead, ladies, and not only share your big why in the group, because you want to claim it, you want to own it, you want to just get loud and proud, ladies. You want the universe to know that you mean business, that you are serious, that you are done with this weight of the past, that you will no longer allow it to burden you, to be heavy on your heart, heavy on your shoulders, the heaviness in the mind, let alone the heaviness on the body. I am done. I'm going to claim my big why right now. I'm going to boost my motivation. I'm going to set it on frickin' fire so that I can really get the results that I'm looking for here. I mean, why the hell not? I did everything else, right? Why the hell not? So go into the group, hashtag my big why. This is the ladies, let's button those jeans again group. I don't want to be a burden. That's my big why. And so share what your big why is. Remember, you got to go 7 layers deep. You got to keep going, even when you don't think you maybe have anything deeper. Go to 7. Make sure that you go to 7 and really get into the emotion of it so that you can be free. And then I want you to also comment, give some love to the other ladies that share their big why. Give some love to them. The opposite of this addictive thinking is connection. We have got to get outside of ourselves and realize that we are not alone and support the other ladies in this group. It does not happen alone. I did not get free and healthy by myself in a corner, quietly eating steamed broccoli and chicken. That's not how it happened. I had to step up and I had to get out all the things that I had been holding on to. So we're going to want to make this environment, this community, ladies, very loving, intensely, like just fiercely compassionate, where we can share our big why and get love. So any of you ladies that share your big why with the hashtag my big why, and then comment and give some love and some hearts and some comments like actually, yes, girl, I feel you, or right on, or this is so amazing, or me too, or whatever it is. Comment on 3 other ladies' big whys. You are going to win a prize, right? Because I want to motivate, right? Motivate. There's so many different ways to motivate ourselves. I am going to send you, right? So we'll do that today, my big why. Hashtag my big why, share it in the group, and then comment on 3 ladies' big whys, give them some love. And I'm going to send you my 90-day journal. This thing is amazing. The Button Those Jeans program, the Perfect Fit program. It's a 90-day journal that gives you step-by-step guidance on what to eat and when. There's a little motivational quotes, areas for gratitude and affirmations, and then an evening thing, and then of course a place to put your food and stuff. This journal has been amazing for my clients. I know that it's going to be amazing for you. This is an incredible win. So let's do that, ladies. Let's get into the chat. Let's love each other up, because listen, this is the jam right here. There's nothing to be ashamed of anymore. We're dropping shame at the door. Bye-bye. We're going to stop shaming ourselves into thinking that we can shame ourselves into having a healthy relationship with food in our body. Enough already, right? Enough already. Oh, I'm just going to wait until I can't, stand myself, and then I'll go on a nice diet. Why do I want to restrict myself, right? And take away something. It's like a punishment for indulging, right? So like, that's awful. We don't want that anymore. So give your little girl a big hug, love her, get down into what your big why is, post it in the group, comment on 3 other ladies, win the journal, and let's keep it rocking. All right, ladies. So that is the lesson for the day. Oh, hey, you guys. Oh, so good to see you. All right. So anyone that is in the group, I'm just going to pop over into the Facebook group because I know that there was a little bit of trouble. Okay. So Liz, Margie. Okay, good. So here listening. Okay. So good. There's some support in the chat inside the group, but any of you ladies that are here on the Zoom, you are welcome to turn your camera on and get some laser coaching. So if you have any questions, if you would like to share your big why with us, we would love to hear it. Really, Anne. Hi, Anne. Cool. Awesome. All right. All right. So Leslie looks like she's doing something else. Anne, you want to share your big why?
Sure. Though I feel like I'm kind of taking your big why and copycatting you.
Oh, I think you were unmuted and then you muted yourself while you were talking. So let's get you back unmuted. There you go.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
My big why is my 2 adult kids, but mainly my granddaughter who's 8, who lives with us. I cannot get down on the floor and play games with her. I can't do anything like that. I can't go on hikes in the woods with her. I just need, this is it. I just need to do this. And I'm excited about that journal of yours. I didn't know that you, well, I guess I remember you coming out, but I never got one. So that looks really exciting for you and for us.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I think this is probably like my 3rd or 4th one that I've gone through. I mean, you can see I already have like, it's all written in here. And it's very helpful. You know, they say that we have, you know, we ruminate inside of our minds, right? And so we have like thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day. I mean, think about it. Your body can go like a couple of weeks without food. It can go a couple of days without water. You can go a couple of minutes without breathing. But how long do you think that you've gone without thinking? There's always something going on in there. It's just constantly. And they say that like 80-ish, probably more, is just the same thoughts over and over and over again. And when we have the same thoughts, again, this is not to, you know, again, the blaming and the shaming ourselves. You know, we don't want to do that. It just is what it is. And when those thoughts are negative, right, and kind of mean to ourselves and our underlying operating system, because why we have that repetitive is because that's how we learn. That's how our mind keeps us safe. That's how we remember who we are, what we're doing, how we need to do it, who's safe, what do we need to do today, what do we need to do tomorrow, like all the things that need to be taken care of. It has to be ruminating so that we know who we are. And when we come to the realization, we're like, oh, I need to make a change. We got to go back and change the rumination, right? We got to update the operating system and go, okay, I'm now an adult. I love you, little girl who did so well. You did so well keeping me safe growing up. Thank you. Thank you for turning to food. I needed that. I needed that in that environment. I did. I needed it for a long time. I don't need it anymore. And so what are those new perceptions? What are those new ideas? What are those new thoughts that we bring with us? And we want to start ruminating those. But they have to be repetitive. Like I have to remember literally every day, right? In my prayer, in my meditation, every day, every time that I show up to my whole food balanced meal, I'm reminding myself who I am and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So yeah, I'm so glad that you're here, Anne. Lord, it's good to see your face. All right, I love you ladies. So proud of all of you. We will be back tomorrow with the saboteurs. So how to X out the saboteurs and keep moving on. All right, I love you so much. Mwah.
Thanks,
See you tomorrow.
Rose.
Yeah,
bye.
yeah.